Pramit wrote two songs in 2019. The first one was Distant, and that was in the month of March 2019. And the second one was On My Own, which was in September 2019. On My Own is a very personal song of Pramit, about Pramit, and by Pramit. While Distant is sort of a universal song. Uh, you could possibly pick any one among the 7 billion people randomly, and possibly it will appear, will be applicable to that person. And not just that, it could have been true a century back, or it could be true even a century from now. It is that universal. And for a song to be that universal, it has to have such great depth that it could touch any individual at any point of time. Well, that's what the song Distant appears to do. And that deep thought starts from the very first two words of the song, held victimized. Let's examine the first line of the song. It goes like this: held victimized, our abstracted minds too blind to see the plight. So, who is victimized here? Is the person victimized by the mind, or is the mind itself that is victimized? He says that the mind is abstracted, due to which it cannot see its own plight, which means that it is the mind that is victimized. Normally we tend to believe that mind plays tricks on us, and that is the culprit. And yes, it is so. But here Pramit is going even deeper to question how the mind turned out to be like that. What caused it to be the culprit in the later stages of the life? And possibly he's also relating this to himself. And maybe he asked this question to himself as to how did a cheerful, expressive, bubbly child that he was become a quieter, contemplative, and a closed person. And probably he tracked back to the stage when that change occurred in him, which of course was over a period of time. And I remember he has asked us, the parents, the question, why is it so, many times. And only to hear an answer that that's how the world works, that's how the life is. And one has to accept that, and one has to adapt to that. So what is apparently good, which is preparing a child to face the world and live a good life, is possibly the process of victimization too. The parenting and educating, the way we do it, is just to fit a person to an acceptable social norm of behavior and to achieve a socially accepted status. In the process, we try to forcibly fit a child to a cultural setting. And it has been like that for time immemorial. So where is the person that one was? And he has been lost apparently, and in the process, as everyone tries to fit into a model that is prescribed, accepted, rewarded by society. And in the process, the innocence that existed is lost. The curiosity and the life itself are lost. This is the way every child's mind is programmed, and the system does that, even if that is with the intention which is good. The outcome is that after a period of time, the person either fits into a structure to find acceptance or falls short of of the expectations and lose out. And there hardly any chance for a child to have a say in this process. And that is the victimization that Pramit is talking about. Okay. He's saying that as a child, no person has any choice in choosing how one has to grow, one has to learn, one has to be. And it is controlled by the society, the culture, and the way the children are brought up in the society. And that's how the song starts. Later he goes and explains how it affects everyone, how most of us try to face this and handle this. Since the mind is influenced and programmed, it is not as much real as it was. It is abstract. And it has lost its ability to see its own plight. And what is the plight? That what is in our hands are the very things that we choose to push aside. The present and the experience of now, which is only real and true, is pushed aside in our chase for something happier in the future. And this is always true, even when what we started chasing years back, earlier, was achieved. A new chase would have started by pushing the goalpost. As it is said, when one need is partially fulfilled, a new need crops up. So in the first verse, Pramit presents the predicament of almost everyone. Held victimized, our abstracted mind is too blind to see the plight, and that what's in our hands are the very things that we choose to push aside. The pre-chorus of the song, which are the next 4 lines, have an equally deeper meaning. And that goes as, you can't deny that we will never know why what we derive turns forever ignored. What is Pramit trying to convey in saying you can't deny? First of all, by saying what we derive turns forever ignored, he is reiterating what he said in the first verse. That what is in our hands are the very things we chose to push aside. The reason he reiterates is to make an important point, that the mind is not even capable of realizing that we are ignoring something so precious. He says that by saying that we will never know. And this fact that we will never know cannot be denied. Well, what appears to be a simple 4 lines is quite complex and needs little more understanding. Happiness and success are always in the future, and in that race we do not appreciate what we derive now. And this happens to be the case always, and we forever ignore that. There is fundamental reason for that, which is the mind does not even know it is important to experience now. And that fact is undeniable. So again leads to the same fact that the mind is so trained, victimized, that it does not know how to experience now. That leads to the chorus. Held by distant worries we fear, fooled by the heartless lives that we lead, we waste all the moments that we ought to adorn. We kneel to our demons and we let them take hold. Well, the chorus is very straightforward. Okay. It is sort of an outcome of the first two verse and the pre-chorus. That we constantly worry about the future, and in the present we'll live heartless lives, wasting all the moment that we should that we should adore. The defining line is that we kneel to our demons when we let them take hold. The demons are our fears, anxieties, greed, anger, hatred, jealousy, and all negative emotions and feelings that over a period of our life builds up, and those take control of our lives. So this is what Pramit is sort of summarizing and how our lives have become. Because of our upbringing. In the next verse, the verse 2, he explains how we deceive ourselves. We live these lives once we tell ourselves when dreams have been deprived. They dwell by our side, but the rest of the time they hold our woes confined. Well, it's very rare that all that we have dreamt of or wanting to achieve are accomplished. More often than not, most of what we want is unfulfilled. When that occurs, we tend to rationalize by lying to ourselves that what we have achieved is what we dreamt. And these lies that we live with us, these lies live with us forever, and it would confine our dreams. It's beautifully said by Pramit. I'm sure I think one can relate to this very well. In the end, he sort of gives a solution, and he also wonders. And he says, I can't understand why we can't be and let life lead. To soothe our hearts, soothe our sore hearts, so as to cure them from our greed. So the question he raises is that, why is it so hard for us to just live and let the life lead us? This is not a defeatist statement, because life is always full of energy, and one experience that every moment of the life, it would only be an elevating experience. So letting life lead does not mean doing nothing. It's more like follow your heart, and do not just try to fit yourself in a predetermined path chosen by others for you. Once does that, there will be no greed or any negative emotions, and our hearts would be healed. So it is sort of a solution to the problem that we face, and he says you don't have any hold, any say in the way you are brought up, but you have a choice now. The choice is to just live your life, follow your heart, and do things that you love, okay? So that you are not controlled by those demons. And it's never late to do this. That's distinct from Pramit.